Today on the CTV News at 5, how the community is trying to dig up new leads on a former city man who disappeared in downtown Vancouver. Plus, logging protesters near beaver mines are told they're trespassing. And after 8 years, South Korea lifts its ban on Canadian beef.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Relatives and friends of a former Southern Alberta man are planning a poster blitz in Lethbridge this weekend in hopes that it will result in new leads in the search for Matthew Huzar. The 25-year-old geologist went missing just over a month ago after attending a staff Christmas party in Vancouver. And tomorrow in Lethbridge, relatives will be handing out and circulating new posters offering a large reward for any information about Huzar's disappearance. Terry Vogt reports.
Deb Bullock is hoping a $10,000 reward will generate new leads in the search for her nephew, 25-year-old Matthew Huzar. The Catholic Central graduate moved to the Lower Mainland to attend the University of British Columbia. He was last seen December 16th walking away from an office Christmas party in a pub in downtown Vancouver.
Not a day has gone by that there has been so many wonderful people from Lethbridge asking and so concerned about my nephew and asking if there's any updates, and there aren't any. So my brother and sister-in-law thought to put a $10,000 reward to try to find information to find Matthew, any kind of information.
We're very frustrated and frightened by the lack of any information whatsoever.
It happens so far away, and we want to do everything that we can. And I've been, asking how we can help. And Danny said, this is how we can help with this new poster with the $10,000 reward. Hopefully, it will bring forward information to find Matthew.
Tomorrow, between 9:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m., relatives in Lethbridge will be gathering at Pink Tie Events on 12th Street and 2nd Avenue South. They'll be distributing the new posters and say they would welcome public support.
If anyone wants to come and help us put up posters around the city, we would be very grateful for that.
Family members say they're deeply concerned about Matthew, but still hopeful that he will come home safely. They say they'll do anything they can to help. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Vancouver police say that they followed up about a dozen leads and suspected sightings, but so far they've turned up no information about Huzar's whereabouts. Investigators are looking into the cause of a fire that destroyed one of the last remaining stores in New Dayton. Insurance adjusters and forensic investigators were searching through the rubble today in an effort to find out what caused the fire. The blaze gutted T&S Grocery, which also contained a liquor store and a postal outlet. Firefighters from Sterling, Warner and Rentham responded to the fire, but their efforts were hampered by the extreme cold. The blaze broke out Tuesday evening, shortly after the store owners closed up for the night.
They had an alarm system inside that tells them that something's going on. So the owners came out, and by that time somebody was after seeing smoke coming out the roof, and they called 911. So that was probably from the time they closed till probably about 30 minutes when somebody actually seen smoke. But it was pretty quick. It went up pretty quick, and pretty cold night, so it was hard to get things to work properly.
Arrangements are being made to set up a temporary postal outlet in a trailer. Until then, the 50 or so community residents will have to drive to Sterling, 16 kilometers away, to pick up their mail. Well, the temperatures may be warming up, but communities in the far southwest corner of the province are under a snowfall warning tonight, and most of BC is under a winter storm warning. Environment Canada says folks in Crow's Nest Pass, Pincher Creek, Waterton Lakes National Park could see up to 20 centimeters of snow overnight. Communities in the East Kootenay all the way north to Invermere are under the same warning. However, most of British Columbia is bracing for a major winter storm. Up to 40 centimeters of snow is expected, along with blowing snow for Elk Valley, Kootenay Lake, West Kootenay, and communities straight through to the west coast. Late this afternoon, Environment Canada also issued a freezing rain warning for Brooks, Vulcan, Suffield, Medicine Hat, and Bow Islands. Well, a new 3-year education project has been launched to help cut snowmobile deaths across Western Canada. A Canadian Avalanche Centre spokesman says high-tech snowmobiles are allowing people to access high mountain terrain, exposing them to more danger. Ian Tom says it's time snowmobilers are educated to the same level of backcountry skiers. The first year of the project will involve research, which will be followed by safety information, targeting snowmobilers in newspapers, brochures, and the internet, as well as having a network of instructors to provide 2- and 4-day courses in the field.
One is looking back and doing detailed analysis of past avalanche accidents, fatal accidents as well as close calls, and then survivor stories and interviews by the researchers to, again, this really comes down to understanding the decision making that led up to the accident.
We'll tell you more about the program in our news at 6. Okay, Dory, you know it's getting warmer when you can get your dog to walk down 6 houses now on your block instead of the 3 they've been making it to this week.
Yeah. Everyone's, going to be smiling, shall we say, as we get into tomorrow especially. Didn't quite get to -7 degrees today. We got to -15 for a daytime high. Still need that push of westerly air, but we will be getting that. And as you already mentioned, we are expecting to see a little bit of snowfall in the mix as well. And that's all part and parcel of that warm air mass that's moving across. And then areas of like Pincher Creek already seeing snow and could see 15 centimeters there overnight tonight. But the benefit from that is that we'll be getting the warmer air. So I'll tell you all about it in a couple of minutes.
Bring on the warmer air. Thanks, Dory. Well, the potential threat of trespassing charges hasn't moved logging protesters from the Castle Mountain development area. Sustainable Resources staff say picketers need to leave the site immediately or they'll face the consequences. Alicia Fieldberg met with protesters who say they aren't giving up.
Neither temperatures in the -20s nor the threat of charges from the provincial government has put a freeze on this protest. Spray Lake Sawmills is supposed to start logging near Castle Mountain any day now. The equipment arrived 10 days ago, but still sits covered in snow as protesters occupy the site.
We're representing the huge public interest, which is the Castle Forest here, and we're on the verge of losing it to clear-cut logging.
Sustainable Resource Development staff told protesters they're trespassing and posted a notice and map of the restricted area on trees. The notice of development says anyone without permission is violating the Public Lands Act and must leave the area.
I personally think this is public land and that we have every right to be here on our land protesting because we don't want to lose our forest.
Provincial staff say it's not public land right now. Once an operator gets authority to work on the site, it becomes a development area, and public safety becomes a concern.
You don't want people going into an industrial zone when industrial activity is occurring.
Demonstrators say the public is more concerned with the future of the multi-purpose site that's popular for recreation and important to the ecosystem. They say opinion polls show 75% of people in the area oppose clear-cut logging in the Castle region.
Phone the Premier's office and their MLA's office saying this area is too valuable to be turned into garden mulch and fence posts.
Provincial staff say in nature, fires control the cycle of growth in a pine forest. As an alternative, logging has been part of the forest management program in the area for over a century.
You need open spaces to get the sunlight to grow those trees back.
Provincial staff say there are many options for enforcement of the Public Lands Act, but they haven't decided how to proceed yet. Protesters have consulted a lawyer about what to do next.
It's a hard thing to do, to face being arrested for believing in something.
Protesters say no matter what, they'll continue advocating for the protection of the Castle Special Area. They're holding a rally Sunday afternoon and invite the public to come out and show their support. Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Castle River Valley.
Now, the public rally will be held 2 o'clock Sunday at the entrance of the Castle Special Management Area along Highway 774. Demonstrators will rally outside the area closed off by Alberta Sustainable Resources. It's been a good day for beef producers and processors in Canada. South Korea has lifted its ban on Canadian beef imports. The door was closed on Canadian imports 8 years ago when cases of mad cow disease surfaced in Alberta. Bill Marks reports.
It's a good day for cattle ranchers like Cole and Jill Harvey.
Well, the Asian market, that's a huge population.
They run about 250 head on 2,000 acres just north of Didsbury. second-generation ranchers. They're busy these days with calving season. The announcement that the South Koreans are finally opening the door to Canadian beef and veal is a huge relief.
It's very exciting, and anything that fuels the fire to give more momentum to the beef industry is great news.
It was back in 2003, in the wake of the BSE scare, that South Korea banned the import of Canadian beef. The Harveys managed to stay in the cattle business, but thousands of other producers went broke.
It's definitely good news for us. We have to have that so that our industry stays healthy. We have a safe, nutritious, and wholesome product that we want to produce for the world to enjoy, and we know that South Koreans now will have that opportunity.
South Korea was just one of about 60 major markets around the world that slammed the door on Canadian beef imports. Prior to the BSE scare, South Korea was Canada's fourth largest export market. The Asian country imported more than 17,000 tons of Canadian beef and veal a year. Exports worth nearly $60 million. Federal Agriculture Minister Jerry Ritz says the entire Canadian economy will benefit.
This announcement is a big step forward for Canada's beef producers and processors. The Canadian beef industry estimates that this restored access could mean annual sales of $30 million by 2015.
South Korea is the last major Asian market to remove its ban on Canadian beef, a huge step in keeping Canadian cattle producers like the Harveys in business. Bill Mark, CTV News, near Didsbury.
Alberta's Liberal leader says his party is committing to winning back the seat in East Lethbridge. MLA Ross Sherman is meeting with party members this week to talk about the nomination deadline. 2 candidates are considering running for the Alberta Liberals in Lethbridge East. The province has 23 Liberal candidates in place and 21 lined up to declare in the next couple of weeks. The MLA for Lethbridge East riding is Bridget Pasteur, who left the Liberal Party last year to join the Tories. Sherman says he was sad to lose Pasteur because she served the community and party well. He's confident the Liberals can win back that seat that they've held since 1993.
This is a Liberal constituency. I wish Ms. Pasteur the best in her other nomination, but my priority is to rebuild. In fact, to be honest, Bridget's resignation is actually led to a renewal in Lethbridge.
A date for a provincial election has yet to be announced. In the markets today, it was a down day for our dollar, up for the TSX though, and Dow Jones.